If you've been following Atlanta hip-hop for the last few years, you already know the conversation never really ends. It just changes names. Two artists come up together, dominate together, then suddenly the internet wants to know who's really on top. So today, we're not picking sides. We're breaking down how two of Atlanta's biggest success stories turned the same blueprint into totally different legacies. Make sure you hit that subscribe button right now, because we're this close to monetization and the next episode's already loading. Atlanta has been the heartbeat of modern hip-hop for almost 2 decades. Every 5 years, a new generation steps up, adds its twist, and resets the standard. These two artists were part of that reset. They didn't invent melodic trap, but they refined it, cleaned it up, and made it exportable. Suddenly, every label wanted a Southern melody record. Every playlist had at least one of their songs, and every rapper outside the region was trying to borrow the bounce. When they first linked up, the chemistry was effortless. One voice was raspy and urgent, like someone recording straight from the trenches. The other was smoother, luxury car music, all glide and rhythm. Together, they created a sound that felt expensive but relatable. The collabs came fast, the visuals were sharp, and Atlanta once again reminded the world that the South doesn't follow trends, it makes them. Their early records were masterclasses in branding. They rapped about fashion, hustle, loyalty, and ambition, but they did it with melody. The hooks were addictive, the flows were polished, the beats were cinematic. You didn't need a radio rollout when every song sounded like a victory lap. What made it click wasn't just the music, it was timing. Streaming was exploding, social media was shaping taste in real time, and both artists understood that consistency beats mystery. They dropped often enough to stay in people's faces, but rarely missed on quality. For fans, it felt like watching two friends win at the same time. Success moves fast, and Atlanta fame moves even faster. By 2019, the city was saturated with stars. Everyone had plaques, everyone had brand deals, and everyone wanted the #1 slot. That's when friendly competition turned into constant comparison. One artist leaned into the corporate lane, bigger budgets, cleaner marketing, global features. The other doubled down on artistry. Fashion partnerships, experimental sounds, new textures, neither was wrong. They were simply playing different games on the same board. But to the internet, nuance doesn't sell, headlines do. So the conversation shifted from they're both winning to who's really running Atlanta. From 2018 to 2020, you couldn't escape their music. Club DJs rotated their songs back to back, TikTok dances popped up overnight. The sound they built together became a global template, melodic flow, conversational bars, beats that felt luxurious but still dangerous. Even their ad-libs became quotables. What's wild is how many new artists borrowed pieces of their approach. Every time a new rapper experiments with melody over trap drums, you can trace the lineage straight back here. Their impact isn't just numbers, it's muscle memory in the culture. Around the early 2020s, life changed. One artist leaned into global superstardom, magazine covers, sold-out arenas, endorsement checks. The other took a quieter road, still charting, but with more focus on sound design and visuals. At first, fans saw it as a split. In reality, it was evolution. Music careers rarely move in sync forever. Sometimes the public wants intensity, sometimes they want style. Sometimes the same fans who once compared you start comparing your eras instead. That's what happened here. Two paths diverged, both valid, both influential. Fast forward to 2025. Both names still dominate playlists, but in different spaces. One racks up massive streams from mainstream placements, festival headlines, and every algorithm imaginable. The other thrives on replay value and artistry, fewer drops, higher replay percentages, deeper fan loyalty. It's the difference between ubiquity and curation. One plays the numbers game, the other plays the long game. And when you look at revenue, merch, and touring, they're both doing fine. But the vibe around each career feels distinct. One feels like an empire, the other feels like a boutique. Of course, the internet has opinions. Twitter threads, Reddit debates, YouTube comments, everybody's got a scorecard. But most people forget, algorithms measure attention, not legacy. The louder artist isn't always the more respected one. The quieter one isn't always behind. Sometimes silence is marketing, and sometimes noise is survival. Every upload adds a new wave of conversation. A random photo post can turn into a trending topic within hours. In 2025, perception is currency, and these two have mastered different exchange rates. Every great artist has to face a reset moment when hype fades and the work has to speak again. Both of these Atlanta giants experienced it. For one, it came after oversaturation. For the other, after public controversy. Yet both responded the same way, by getting back to music. And that's what separates professionals from phenoms. When the timeline moves on, they move smarter. They drop stronger albums, book smarter deals, pick better features. The comeback isn't just about regaining fans, it's about reminding the industry that skill outlasts spectacle. They've become symbols of two different kinds of ambition. One represents stability, business moves, and corporate success. The other represents creativity, individuality, and reinvention. Together, they cover the full spectrum of what hip-hop has become: art and enterprise, authenticity and analytics. In Atlanta, that balance is everything. It's a city built on reinvention. From crunk to trap to melodic rap, every shift was led by someone who refused to be boxed in. These two just happen to be the latest torchbearers. Ask 10 fans who's better and you'll get 11 answers. Some people love the relentless consistency, the feeling that a new single could drop any day. Others respect the patience and attention to detail. Some say one artist defines motivation. Others say the other defines vibe. They're both right, and that's the beauty of hip-hop in 2025. There's room for both. The scene doesn't run on rivalry, it runs on variety. Fans can stream both on the same playlist and call it balance. Behind the scenes, both artists changed how Atlanta business works. They proved that independent branding within major systems is possible. Merch lines, festival partnerships, cross-genre features, they blurred every boundary. Labels watched and learned that you don't manage these stars, you partner with them. Each move built new revenue streams: sneakers, fragrances, NFTs, philanthropic work. They're not just artists, they're enterprises. That's why comparisons miss the point. Both are playing long-term wealth games. You can hear traces of their influence in nearly every regional scene. Memphis has the cadence. Detroit has the hustle. New York borrowed the tone. California borrowed the mood. Atlanta remains the compass. Producers copy their drum kits. Writers copy their phrasing. Stylists copy their wardrobe balance of streetwear and luxury. They made it cool to sound polished but still grounded, to mix hustler mentality with high fashion aesthetics. If you're an upcoming artist watching their journey, here's the takeaway. Consistency wins attention, but identity wins longevity. One artist mastered momentum, dropping relentlessly until the world couldn't ignore him. The other mastered mystique, disappearing long enough to make every return feel like a premiere. Both strategies work if the art holds weight. And in the streaming era, fans don't just listen, they invest emotionally. Give them a story, and they'll carry you through the algorithm. That's exactly what both of these artists did. Different routes, same destination. Hip-hop audiences move fast. A headline today is nostalgia tomorrow. But certain names stick because their catalogs stick. Even if trends shift, people still play those old tracks that captured a moment in time. These two have multiple. Every year, a new wave tries to recreate the chemistry they had in the late 2000s. And every year, fans remind them, it's not that easy. There was a hunger and authenticity in those records that algorithms can't clone. So after all that, who's winning? Depends on the scoreboard you use. If it's streaming numbers, one might edge ahead. If it's creative reinvention, the other takes the crown. If it's pure cultural footprint, it's a draw. What matters more is that they forced each other and the whole scene to level up. Competition breeds classics. Without a counterpart pushing you, comfort creeps in. These two kept Atlanta sharp. Their story isn't just about rivalry, it's about evolution. How two artists from the same city with the same mentor base could build empires that look nothing alike. It's proof that success in hip-hop isn't one size fits all anymore. You can be flashy or minimalist, vocal or private, everywhere or selective, and still thrive. It also shows how the South quietly runs the culture. New York had its golden age, LA had its reign, but Atlanta mastered the art of regeneration. These two are chapters in that never-ending book. What we're watching is growth. Not just musical growth, but personal and professional maturity. Both artists learned how to navigate fame without letting it drown them. One found comfort in global dominance, the other found peace in creative control. In a genre obsessed with more, they've both learned the power of enough. So, who's really winning in 2025? Maybe the better question is, who's still standing? Because in an industry where careers vanish in 2 summers, longevity itself is victory. Both started as proteges, both became icons, and both inspired the next line of dreamers setting up studios across Atlanta tonight. If you made it this far, you already know what to do. Like, comment, and subscribe. We're almost monetized, and the next episode's going to dive even deeper into how competition keeps the culture alive. Drop a comment. Whose strategy do you respect more? The constant grind or the comeback king energy? Either way, it's all love for the city that raised them. This is Fake Famous. We out.